What is going on, friends and neighbors? It is the Matt Murphy radio portion of the broadcast day on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So pleased you've decided to join us. It is 12:05, and if I may, unless you've been caught in the last 4 or so minutes, may I be the first to say good afternoon to you. Hope you're doing well on this Friday. It is Friday, December 8, 2023. It is our episode 471 of these proceedings. We are almost 2 years, 2 full calendar years into the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and I am certain that the executive producer of this broadcast, Headless Bell we call him, Bell will be preparing diligently over the course of the weekend the big-time anniversary celebration that will be next week. I'm certain of it. And we'll talk to him about some of those preparations and what his needs might be in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I'd love to talk to you, 615-737-9986. You may do so either via the telephone lines. It is First Amendment Freestyle Friday, or you may do so on the Super Text line, which is up and running. Super Text line, always up and running. And if we don't get to you, I talked to a number of listeners last night, and I'll get to some of these conversations in a moment. If we don't respond to you on the Super Text line, it doesn't mean we haven't seen it, but sometimes we don't see it because there are so many of you that utilize that form of communication, which is a great addition to the show and a great addition to what we do on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So utilize that, or I always like talking to folks, turning monologues into dialogues, although I was accused last night of not letting people finish. And I know it's a failure common to this model, and I apologize for that. I'll try to do better. We've got Mac Attack coming up at 2:05 this afternoon. I do have some bad news to report regarding the show today, and I'll do that in just a moment. After I say hello to Bell K, remind you that we are podcasting. We are streaming.
We do that too.
We podcast too, but that's later on. Internet streaming up and running, available at all of your streaming platforms, including our own. You can download our app and take us wherever you go. You can also listen on the radio on 99.7 FM. And then there's Super Talk TV. It is up and running today. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Today's episode 471 is entitled
Murphy Show. You want an inside job? $33 trillion in debt is an inside job.
That's the truth, boy. Gross.
Libertarian lunch, noon to 3. Cocktails.
We're having some? We missed you last night, Bill. A lot of folks asked about you.
You did not miss me.
I did. I did, because we had some stuff to lift, and I felt, man, we could use Bell K around here now. I was buying everybody drinks at the bar. I was, we were having a good time. I was a roving reporter.
Were you drinking?
Was I drinking?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I had a cocktail or two.
Okay.
I mean, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy, as they say.
I'm not against either.
Met some great folks. I don't think I'm supposed to say this, but I'm pretty sure that this person does not listen to the radio show because they told me that they were liberals and wanted to know what I was. And I told them that I'm Matt Murphy. I'm my own guy. I don't join groups that would have me as members. L word? Yeah, I eventually told them I was a libertarian.
Did they understand what that was?
Not really. I told them that I believe that people should be left to their own devices to succeed or fail of their own desires and want-tos and whatnot. And we had a great conversation, but it was funny because the vast majority, 95% of the people that were at Scoreboard, Cedar Creek Marina, were there for us, and we filled the joint. It was incredible. Dan was there, Brian was there, Matt was there, Chris was there. Hail, the whole gang was there, and we had a great time. Met the owner of Scoreboard. He did not, I love this guy. He was so unassuming. Did not want to say that he was the owner of Scoreboard. His name's Barrett. Great guy. Owns the one out at Opryland, near Opryland, and bought the Cedar Creek Marina facility and turned it into a Scoreboards out there. And it's just gone gangbusters since then. Anyway, met these folks, and a woman called me over into the corner like we were telling a secret. And she said, what is going on here? And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, we're here. We live down the street. This is my group of friends.
Whoa. Did she threaten to end you?
No, she's not threatened to end me.
Oh, okay.
But she said that her I'm hesitating because I don't know if I should be telling the story, but I'm going to anyway, whatever. She was like, well, two of my friends at the table here, we're in the table in the middle, and two of my friends at the table here, they know who you guys are, and they listen a little bit, and they said they've listened to you. But she said, you seem funny. because we'd been doing this for about an hour. She said, "You seem funny and good-natured, but are you a conservative?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I'm not a conservative." I said, "But not that that's a bad thing." I said, "Chris Hand is a conservative. I think he would describe himself as such. Obviously, Dan Mandis, Brian Wilson." I said, "They're all conservatives. They're good people." And so we start talking, and she said, "Well, my husband and I are more left of center." And I said, "You're liberals?" And she said, "Well, yeah." Her husband is the bassist for Bon Jovi.
Oh, no, what's his name? McDonald?
I don't know. I don't know who the bassist for I think I have this right. I don't know who the bassist for Bon Jovi is.
It's the guy that replaced Alec John Such, who actually played on all the records because Alec didn't. Bon Jovi.
I'm doing this. I'm doing the same thing. Alex John.
No,
Hugh McDonald.
Hugh McDonald. Yeah, there you go.
Let me look at him. I think that's him. Yeah, that's him. He's lost weight.
I didn't know Hugh lived here.
Doesn't
surprise me, though.
No, they all live here. They all live here.
John's pretty much a leftist, too, so it doesn't surprise me that they work well together.
Is he a leftist?
Yeah.
Leftist center?
Yeah.
But I don't believe that most of these entertainers are as left of center as they would be if they did not live inside of their bubbles. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I hope it does. Anyway, I met them. Hopefully got some new listeners as a result. Hello. I'm sorry that I'm telling your secret, and I'm sorry that Bel K outed your man. I was just going to say bassist for Bon Jovi and leave it at that. I think that's right. She either said Bon Jovi or no, I think she said Bon Jovi. I think that's right. Anyway, we met those folks, met a ton of other people. If you went out, if you were out and about and you're listening now, thank you. God bless you. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming last night. It was a ton of fun, and we'll do it again very, very soon. Lots to get into on episode 471 of the show today, but it will not include, I'm sad to report, Jay St. Clair. There will, on this December 8th, be no Fry Jay.
It just makes me sad.
Me too.
I don't know if we should have mentioned that, though, because all of a sudden I feel like there's a lot of radios being turned off.
Clicking off? Yeah. Well, we'll get them back. So, yeah, Jay had some duties. Obviously, he's still engaged, although he's slowly moving toward retirement. He's still working over at Littler Mendelson and Birmingham, Alabama, and he had some duties today and duty calls, and so he will not be able to.
Which track did these duties?
No, this was actual law. Believe it or not, this was like deposition or something or another.
Sure, right.
That the judge scheduled that he could not get out of. I don't know what it was exactly, but he said if there was any way he could be here, he would be here, and so he's not here, and so I'm whining about it. Also, Christmas is canceled. So there you go. So no Jay, but some of you, it gives us a better opportunity to commit to a First Amendment Freestyle Friday. That means anything on your mind we'll discuss. All you have to do is give us a call, 615-737-9986. I don't care what it is. I lacked interested in it, and I will engage you on it. 615-737-WWTN, either via the phone lines or the text lines. Now, I have a few subjects on my list of things to discuss. First and foremost, obviously, the revelation that we broke to you last evening during our event at Cedar Creek Marina at Scoreboards that the Hunter Biden legal troubles are getting worse and worse and worse. If you have been following this saga, and if you listen to this radio show, you have. This indictment has some bright, flashing problems for the President of the United States. The other day, Christopher Wray talked about, we've got, red lights blinking regarding the possibility of terrorist attacks on American soil, which we all believe is coming. They only have to be right once. We have to be right 100% of the time. And with the porous nature of the southern border, we are diminishing our odds every single day that we allow this flood of illegal activity crossing over our southern borders. But there are several in this 56-page grand jury indictment, which, by the way, I would have talked with Jay St. Clair about today, but he's not here. Not to belabor that. It's incredible. This indictment is incredible. It is scathing. It is dramatic. It is detailed. It is unsavory. It demonstrates One, his lavish lifestyle without regard, his holier than thou, two-tier, lavish, I'm better than you, I'm not an average person, I'm a Biden, I can do whatever I want to. The deep disdain that this person had for the legal system, disdain for that this person had for law in general, because he thinks he's better than you because his last name is Biden. You can excuse it away as a drug addiction and, oh, this poor, pitiful soul, whatever. Go read the indictment. I encourage you to do so. The deep dishonesty embedded in the Biden family. The not just unsavory, just the unseemly lifestyle engaged in by Hunter. The willingness to facilitate this lifestyle by his father and his uncle and other family members because they were engaged in money-making schemes as well. His willful decision to evade the law and to evade his tax liability on millions and millions of dollars, most of which made from foreign entanglements engaged in because of his father, is fascinating. Instead of taking money that he earned because of his last name through the willingness of his father to shop his Biden family name around to foreign countries, as vice president and as between the time that he was vice president and president. So all of this started while Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. Instead of taking the money that he made for no work product, and we're talking about Burisma, folks. We're talking about Ukraine. Is there a reason why Joe Biden is so insistent? An honest media would go through this. It's not that hard. An honest media would suggest to you that maybe, just maybe, Joe Biden and Hunter Biden's entanglement with the Ukrainian prosecutor getting fired and Burisma and all of that, maybe that is what leads him to insist that if the United States of America doesn't give money to Ukraine, that we're somehow supporting Russia in their effort to take over portions of that country. Something that I don't want to happen, but also something that I don't want blood spilled over, at least American blood spilled over. And frankly, unless we have an accounting of the money already spent, you don't get any other money. And that's another subject being debated right now on Capitol Hill. Is there a reason why Joe Biden mollycoddles the Chinese above and beyond his son's business entanglements and the suggestion that the Chinese people have the goods on Joe Biden? So all of this money flooding into Hunter Biden's bank account, with 10% going back out to the big guy and 10% going out to his uncle and 10% going this way and 10% going that way. He did not have the good sense or the human decency to pay his taxes. Now, while Hunter Biden in 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 is not paying his taxes, is actively evading paying his taxes, Joe Biden steps up to the national stage and talks about all of these evil, rich people who don't pay their taxes. Over and over and over again. Rich got to pay their fair share. Rich got to pay their fair share. Why aren't the rich paying their taxes? Well, he's talking about rich people using legitimate and legal loopholes to pay the minimum amount of tax that they're required to pay. In the meantime, his son, who's making money and cutting it back to Joe, is paying nothing. Instead, and I've got the list, Hunter Biden decides that he wants to spend his money on prostitutes, drugs, luxury items like fancy cars and whatnot. Hunter Biden is the exact type of tax cheat that should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. If there is any justice in the United States of America, Hunter Biden is going to jail. And Donald Trump's not. And I don't want Hunter Biden in one of these luxury Club Med type jails. No. I want him in don't bend over for the soap prison. Because he deserves it. I imagine, if I step back from this, don't you imagine this, Bell, that liberals think about Donald Trump the same way we think about Hunter Biden? Probably.
Oh, no, not at all. I don't think that one bit.
You don't think that?
I think Trump derangement syndrome is much, much more of a mental illness.
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, I just think Hunter is kind of a cocky guy who thought he was above the law and could get away with it. Whereas I think Trump, if he did anything that was truly quote-unquote illegal, I think it was born out of ignorance and arrogance, not because he's actually trying to break the law.
Well, I'm beginning to understand how Joe Biden has such a level of expertise when he has these conversations with the American people. So Joe Biden steps in front of a microphone and has over the past several years, certainly as president, while he was campaigning as president, even as vice president of the United States, and the gap in between. And he gets moments of clarity when he talks about the elites, the super privileged. He loves to, when he's speaking and trying to act like the common man, he loves to talk about the privileged people who produce little value in the United States of America, who are greedy, who are unwilling to pay their fair share, who are privileged by their names alone, who are addicted to consumption. He's talking about his son, whom he raised. I would argue he's talking about himself. Your calls, your thoughts, 615-737-9986. I'll give you some of the details on this. It's a great story. It's a good time for the Libertarian Lunch. Also, I need to talk to you about pineapples today. Don't, Bell, allow me to forget to talk about pineapples today. Please. I desperately need to do that. Pineapples and maybe free passes. You know what a free pass is?
Well, I know there's multiple definitions of that. The one I use the most often is the one where I've done something wrong and I need a free pass.
Well, see, you're not in a relationship, so you don't know about this. But
yeah, you had to add that to the little.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, Dolly Parton would be should be an example of
okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
So she would be on your list.
I had somebody today ask me if I had a conversation with Daryl Worley. This happened just recently when I got to work. Said, what? Did you have Daryl Worley in?
Oh.
And I said, yeah, I had him in yesterday. And this person, who will remain anonymous, said, well, Daryl Worley knows Trace Atkins, right?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, they're friends. They're buddies. And this person, who will remain anonymous, said, well, Trace Atkins is my free pass. And I said, I have to get out of this conversation and walk away from it.
I know who you're talking about now.
And I said, well, I think I could facilitate I'm not speaking for Trace Atkins, but introductions at least.
I don't know do you think Trace's wife would give him a pass?
I don't know. I'm not suggesting any of that. I'm not suggesting it would go any further than, hello, this is Trace Atkins. And then the person that I'm talking about goes, ooh.
Well, Johnny's really good friends with Trace.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And now I got the Daryl Worley connection. I got a backdoor connection there.
Can you imagine getting a call from Trace and him just going, hey, let's go out to dinner?
Hey, this is Trace. I was just wondering if you want to go out and have a bite.
That's pretty good.
It's 12:24 on Super Talk. Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy. Efficient Heating and Cooling is my go-to company for all of my air conditioning needs. And when I say air conditioning, I like to say it that way because when you're heating the air in your home, you're conditioning it. You're getting it from whatever it is outside to a more comfortable condition inside of your house. And if you or your family need help in that regard, I encourage you to contact Efficient Heating and Cooling. Jeff Eddy and his team will get out jiffy quick. They will fix what ails your heater. They will do what is necessary to get it back up to running properly. And if they can't, if the life cycle has ended, when he tells you this, you can trust that Jeff Eddy or any of his qualified technicians, they're not filling you full of good. I mean, they're not, it's not a bill of goods that they're trying to sell you. It is the real deal. They'll tell you the truth about the matter. It is the trustworthy factor, the reason that I heartily endorse Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. Absolutely love these guys. So I encourage you to go over to the website, efficienthvac.net. That's efficienthvac.net, and contact my good friend Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. Allow him to fix what ails you when it comes to your heat. Not too late to get that thing maintenance either. efficienthvac.net. If you own your own home, it's the biggest expense for most of us that you're ever going to have, your one-time expense. I think food over your life, you spend more on food, but your home is the biggest one-time expense. And if you have foundation issues, you probably know it. If you have waterproofing issues, you probably know it. But you don't want to do anything about it because you have to face reality, right? Well, it's better to face it early than late. Let's talk about it. USS is United Structural Systems. They are a foundation repair and waterproofing company that served Middle Tennessee since 1994. They've had over 25,000 satisfied customers, residential customers that can tell you with testimony available to you online, and I'll give you the website in just a moment, what United Structural Systems did, how they approached the repairs in their home, how they minimized the cost of said repairs, and how they fixed what ails your house, and now you sleep better tonight because you've got peace of mind. Go ahead and make the call that so many others have made to USS, United Structural Systems. Foundation repair, waterproofing, and the poly-level concrete leveling system, the poly-lift system, I should say, available to you. That website, as promised, USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. Homeowners simply trust USS. Call 615-488-7855, 488-7855. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to USS. I know Dan Mandis loves it when we play the beginning of this song. I got to get to the hook, though. Of course, Dan's on a plane to California, right? What he doesn't know doesn't hurt him. Hey, by the way, it's 12:30. It's Friday! And we're contractually obligated to get down on Friday. I love Fridays. I mean, and not just because of the weekend, but I do like to remind you that our weekends are special, and I think you already know this, but let's go ahead and say it. Our weekends are special because of those who make it special, right? The firefighters, the EMTs, the nurses, the doctors, the police officers, all of those emergency responders that keep us safe and sound out and about on the weekends, but also the restaurateurs, the convenience store owners and convenience store workers, the folks that work at the restaurant or the bar that you go to that make your weekend fun. Thank you so much, you weekend warriors. We appreciate you. 615-737-9986. If you'd like to be a part of the show, we'd love to talk with you about Joe Biden and his connection to Hunter's business dealings, which Hunter chose not to pay taxes on. 4 months ago, David Weiss tried to bury this case. 4 months ago, David Weiss attempted to offer Hunter Biden a no-jail plea to 2 puny, good-for-nothing misdemeanors. It was a sweetheart deal, so out of the ordinary, the judge said no. And we owe this judge a debt of gratitude because now, because of this, now we know why they were so desperate for immunity. We'll talk about this in just a moment. It's 12:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Savory Spice is here for you during the holidays with all of your baking going on, and many of you are. Perhaps you're preparing for that Christmas celebration coming up in just a few short weeks, or perhaps it's just the normal routine and you need new spices. You need better spices. You need Savory Spice. I mentioned some of the wonderful things they have for the holiday season. I talked to Holly about the glitter syrup. Which I've got to go buy. Now I've got to go get more glitter syrup so that I can stuff stockings with glitter. It's syrup with glitter in it. And it's pretty cool. It's maple syrup. It's got glitter in it. And so, I mean, the kids are going to love this. Absolutely love it. Not just on Christmas, but any morning. They've got it at Savory Spice. They also have popcorn sprinkle and other types of deliciousness. They have premix. I call it premix. I mean, a variety of different brands from Savory Spice, but the bottom line is this. If you don't really know what you're doing in the kitchen, and I don't, you go in, you buy these mixes. They tell you exactly what to do on the back of the package. Like, buy this amount of meat, buy this amount of veggies, chop it up this way, put it in a pot, put this in the pot, all of these spicy goodness, put it in a pot. And, 6 hours later, you've got, Sunday pot roast right there in the crock pot, or whatever it might be. Taco soup right there in the crock pot. It's deliciousness made for you by Savory Spice. So you up your food game by upping your spice game. You up your spice game at Savory Spice. 2 locations to serve. L&L Market there on Charlotte Pike, also in Franklin, just off the square. Tell Holly David, they're local owners of Savory Spice, the one and only. Tell them I sent you to Savory Spice. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and you, thank you for being with us on a Friday edition. Yes, we will get into pineapple talk coming up in just a second. I can't believe I'm going to do it, but I will do it. Maybe not in a second. Maybe it will be in the second hour of the show in the absence of Jay St. Clair. It's a First Amendment Freestyle Friday on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I promised I'd get to some of your telephone calls, and I'm going to do so. 615-737-9986. If you have any thoughts about this incredible indictment against Hunter Biden, it is so salacious. It makes me believe that the deep state powers that be want Joe out. And they feel that the best way to do it is not to convince him because of his age that he is past the winter season of his public service, as they say, but to force him out because of the scandals involving his son and relating to him. It's not about Hunter Biden, private citizen. It's about Hunter Biden, son of the vice president. It's not about Hunter Biden, private citizen. It's about two tiers of justice in which Hunter skated on very, very serious charges, and his president or vice president at the time, father, helped him do so and was enriched in the process by some of the business. So you've got the business dealings on one hand, you've got the lifestyle and the tax evasion on another hand. So let me give you some of the examples of what Hunter Biden decided to spend his money on as opposed to taxes. Now, there are numerous claims currently being made regarding what Hunter suggested he was doing, what excuse making he was making. And it's my understanding, because he's indicated as such, that Bell's a little frustrated. Bell K, Headless Bell, is a little concerned about some of these allegations. For example, the allegations of he tried to write off some of his expenses with regard to adult entertainment. Is that not right?
Yeah. I mean, first off, let me be my usual extreme self. Taxation is theft. All gun charges are infringement. He shouldn't be being bought up on anything. But when the man tries to write off a $1,500 charge for an exotic dancer as art, and the government rejects that, that's none of the damn government's business. Have you been in a strip club?
Not in a while.
Well,
not in a hot minute.
I have been in them before, and I can tell you right now that those girls are the Da Vinci's of dance. That is art, and the government has no business telling him that's not art.
I think you may have a point. I think maybe there's a distinction between fine art. It really depends on which strip club you're in.
Fine, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
As long as you're not there during the lunch crowd.
When you're paying this amount of money, you're probably dealing with fine art. You're not dealing with the other kind, which is, I hope you got low lighting. You know what I mean?
I saw bullet wounds.
Oh, no.
Stole that from Family Guy.
Bullet wounds. Oh, boy. Hunter Biden allegedly spent a total of $872,172 on various women and adult entertainment.
Good for him.
Good for him. You know, there's a side of me, I mean, obviously, I'm tongue firmly in cheek when I say this, but there's a side of me that, I mean, not jealous is the wrong word for me. Maybe not for you, Bell, but for me.
Envious?
I mean, my Lord.
I mean, I honestly think that he felt like he had paid his taxes, that, the 10% to the big guy was the tax.
That's the way he looked at it.
Yeah.
No, this goes to his mind frame with regard to the business that he was engaged in. Hunter Biden looked at the business that he was engaged in as criminal activity. If he didn't, he would have paid his taxes for fear that he would get caught not paying his taxes. But I promise you, if he was thinking at all and not just high as a kite on crack or whatever, the mindset goes this way. The business entanglements that I am engaged in, if anybody looked at this with any level of reasonableness and scrutiny, they would see that these are foreign entanglements with foreign entities that are illegal, or at least completely unethical, that would destroy the Biden name. So I'm not filing taxes on this stuff. Otherwise, I get caught doing what I'm doing. He knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew involving his father was wrong. He knew involving his uncle was wrong. That's why he didn't pay his taxes. Because he felt like if he did, someone would scrutinize, hell, where's all this money coming from? And all this money coming in, it's going out. Where's it going? Can't pay your taxes on that. And I promise you, no one happier that Joe Biden became president of the United States than his son, because this ensures none of this will ever come out. At least that's what he thought. I'll get into more of the salacious details in just a moment. Right now, it's Amy's turn out of Spring Hill. Thank you for calling, Amy. How are you? Hello, Amy.
Fine, thank you.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Thank you. I love your show. I honestly think that Hunter Biden should pay for whatever crimes he's done, but I don't for 1 second believe that he is the mastermind behind any of this. I think this falls squarely in the lap of Joe Biden, his wife, possibly his brother, and that they are using Joe Biden and have used him to do the unsavory parts of this crime family's network of crimes. This has been 40 years in the making, from the Senate seat to the vice presidency to God knows what now. And unfortunately, our president will probably never pay for the crimes that this family has done, but I think we would probably be shocked and nauseated if we really knew what that crime family has been doing, because it isn't just avoiding taxes.
Well, no, I mean, at the end of the day, Joe Biden engaged in influence peddling with foreign entanglements that compromised him in such a way that he is unfit to be president of the United States of America. And if we put two and two together, I believe that these are clearly impeachable offenses.
Absolutely.
And hopefully that will move forward in 2024. Now,
yes,
I would suggest, and I've maintained since, I guess I was saying it last April, that I came to the conclusion last April that Joe Biden's dementia and his mental and physical frailty would prevent him from running in 2024, no matter what they said. Now, with this, I believe this coming out as it has, this can be used to get him off the ballot. Because I promise you, the Democrat powers that be in Washington, D.C. recognize what a liability he is, and they want him off the ballot.
Absolutely. And I don't think if Joe Biden is linked to these crimes, he should not be allowed to pardon his son or anybody in his family.
You know, it's an interesting dynamic. I believe, Amy, I agree with you first and foremost, and thank you for the call. 615-737-9986 if you'd like to be on board. The Constitution of the United States of America does not limit the ability of a president of the United States to pardon, to the point that there is a robust discussion about whether or not a president can, as president, pardon himself. Some say yes, some say no. Others undecided. Film at 11. So I don't think that from a constitutional standpoint there could be anything that would prevent it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not reading deeply enough into it. I'm kind of shooting off the hip. I've not delved into that aspect of this, Amy. I've not thought of it. But if Hunter Biden, if the charges against him are going to lead Hunter Biden to jail, and these charges, if proven in court, he will go to jail. Big boy jail. Soap on a rope jail. If that's the case, and it is a scandal enough that it breaks through the waterline and the mainstream media networks that tote the water for Joe and his people, if ultimately it's decided that Joe can't run as president of the United States, he'll serve out his term, get another candidate on the ballot in 2024, what would stop Joe from pardoning him? I mean, what the hell does he have to lose? He's got no more political career. No more than me or you. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of years left. From 2016 to 2019, Hunter Biden allegedly spent $683,212 paying what the indictment describes as, quote, various women, including people he had romantic or sexual relationships with. He spent $188,960 on adult entertainment, including a sex club membership, exotic dancers, and strip clubs. Imagine for a moment what the mainstream media would do with this if it were Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump. I mean, come on now. I mean, hell, Donald Jr. agreed to have one meeting with one individual in Trump Tower years ago, not knowing what the meeting was going to be about. When he found out what the meeting was about, he eliminated it. He got rid of it. He said, no, I'm not interested in this. And for that purpose, or rather for that brief meeting, the Democrats, the deep state, the Obama administration convinced a FISA judge to wiretap Trump Tower. Can you imagine what they would do with something like this? Come on. 615-737-9986. I tell you what, Bell, we'll take the quick break because I don't want to have to do it. And our good friend Steve Abramowitz of Mill Creek View wants to weigh in on this ridiculous scandal that. All right, friends, you have holiday shopping to do, and you don't know what to get that loved one in your life. What about a training session at Glock Store at their Shoot 270 range? What about incredible amounts of accessories there in the retail side of things? I mean, heck, you bring that person in, and you can go ahead and think about getting them a gun. Or you can buy the gun yourself and gift it to them. I mean, friends, they've got guns for ladies, guns for men, long guns, short guns. They've got accessories. They have holsters. They've got wear. They've got gear. They've got ammo. They've got it all at the world-famous Glock Store. If you're not shopping for your gun and accessory needs at the Glock Store, may I suggest you're doing it wrong? I suggest you get over there today. Airlane Drive, just off of Elm Hill Pike. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the world-famous Glock Store. Look into training sessions. Look into a membership on the range. The Shoot 270 range is not like anything you've ever seen. I've shot there, and I love it, and I know you will too. Go to the world-famous Glock Store's website at glockstore.com or shoot270.com, and then sling on by right off of Elm Hill Pike. It's the world-famous McGill's Glock Store. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and you on a Friday edition. I just viewed. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted because during the break there, I was looking on social media. I was looking at a variety of platforms, and I just viewed what might be the greatest 2-minute video ever put on the internet. It's about a kid in the 1970s trying to jump 10 trash cans, Evel Knievel style, and a reporter is like straight reporting this, and it is bad. I might even play it for you on the air. That's how good it is. It's pretty good. I'll be back next Monday. He didn't make it. Anyway, not to bury the lead there. Steve Abramowitz is with Mill Creek View. You know Steve. You know I talk about him quite a bit because I love what he's doing over there at Mill Creek View. Watch the podcast. What's up, Steve? How are you? Uh-oh. Hey, you there? Steve. Testing. 1, 2. You know, the deep state's cutting out his phone. Steve has some incredible things to say about Hunter Biden. He has incredible insight as to what the hell's going on with this ridiculous scandal and indictment. And yet he's not going to. Are you there, Steve? Hello, Steve. Steve.
I am here. Can you hear me?
The deep state's trying to get to you, man. But I can hear you now.
Oh. Okay. Well, happy Hanukkah, Mr. Matt. How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy Hanukkah to you too, Steve. I am just. Did you read this thing? 56 pages?
I did. I've got the receipts right in front of me. You know how I always say I bring the receipts. I've got the receipts. They're pretty funny.
It is. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything. I mean, there's a lot of soap opera drama, a lot of sex and scandal, and a lot of misappropriation of money, and not a lot of paying your taxes. That's my assessment. What's yours?
Well, it's funny they talk about the taxes. You don't really pay taxes when you're doing an all-cash business, especially when the cash is hitting your bank account from foreign entities that you're trying to hide it from. So how are you even supposed to pay taxes, much less report it on your W-2, so to speak?
Well, it goes to –
amazing to me.
I said earlier, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but I said earlier, and I'm wondering what you think about this, that this goes very much to Hunter Biden's mindset about what he thought he was doing. You know, he'll make an argument that he thought everything he was doing was on the up and up, but his actions prove otherwise. Because I believe that if Hunter Biden thought he could pay taxes, he would have to cover his tracks. But he very well knew he wasn't supposed to be doing what he was doing with all of this money and these foreign governments. That's why he didn't pay taxes on it.
Well, you know how you can prove that one?
How's that?
I've got the receipt. He took $1.6 million out of an ATM or ATMs all across the world over a 4-year period. You take Here, let me tell you a little anecdote. So I just put some trees in my backyard, and I had to go and get ATM money 4 days in a row to equal the total amount of the 20 trees that we put in there because he didn't want to use electronic payments, and I totally respect that. How in the world do you rack up $1.6 million in a cashless society if you're not handing it over to some people that you don't want to have a paper trail of? That's interesting, don't you think?
I do. Do you believe – I'm coming to believe, and not necessarily that the indictment is the result of the deep state wanting Joe gone, but I do believe that this is the way that they accomplish that task. The deep state is invested in another candidate. They know how weak Biden is. They know that he gets weaker by the day, physically, mentally, and from a political perspective. I think this is how they get him.
Yeah, you could be right. I mean, I'm looking at the receipts. The rehab payments only came to $70,000, and those were only in 2016, 17, 18. There's a big zero for 19. So if that's $71,000 for rehab, $1.6 million for untraceable cash payments. Pretty fair to say they didn't want us to know what they were doing, but now they do. And by the way, insurance, $203,000. Do you have anything that you need to insure for $203,000 over 5 years?
I don't know. Maybe
that means that there's even more to the story than.
Well, I would think that that might depend. I mean, I guess the insurance rates go up the more that I use a particular. I mean, what's he insuring?
I think they're fraudulently putting things on applications, like when he signed the gun permit, which is a felony, and said he had never done drugs. So it's one of these false sporting type of situation.
It's,
but I think you're right. I think it is all to bring down the big guy, and just in time for the election.
Just in time for 2024. Steve, thank you so much. I appreciate you giving us a call. That's Steve Abramowitz with Mill Creek View, joining us for a couple of minutes, giving his assessment and validating my belief that this will, if it was not its purpose, it will be used for a purpose. And that is to get past Joe, potentially past Kamala, and on to GN, Gavin Newsom, whom I think they want. It's 1 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Do you, or maybe do you have a family member that has hearing loss? If so, please listen attentively to what I'm about to say for the next 60 seconds or so, because most people wait way longer than they should regarding their hearing. And Ronnie Bowling and his team at Brentwood Hearing Center want that to end. He is available for you and has been for many, many years. But what he needs you to do is call him and schedule an appointment with one of his doctors of audiology today. Do this for you, do this for your family, and get back to an active lifestyle again. If you're avoiding gatherings at Christmas, if you're avoiding group parties, if you're avoiding going to the movies or going to dinner because you cannot hear the conversations that go on around you, or if you've noticed that a spouse or a loved one is turning the television up or turning the radio up to loud levels, it's time to get with Brentwood Hearing Center. Paradise Live Hearing Aid is the world's first completely waterproof hearing aid. Just one example of the incredible modern technology that they have available for you at Brentwood. They say better hearing for a better life, and that is proof, or that is proven every single day. And if you go in, you'll see. They'll take you on a tour of the facility. They'll talk to you about what they can do for you, and then they'll get down to business, checking your hearing and making sure that they find the right device for you. 615-377-0420. 615-377-0420. Schedule an appointment today. Better hearing for a better life at Brentwood Hearing Center. I am going to go over a few of the details, disturbing as they may be, on the Hunter Biden indictment, and we'll move on to some other things. Appreciate you being with us. It's 104 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Pamela Furr, the redheaded stranger, in for Brian Wilson, who is no doubt preparing for his big Christmas soiree tomorrow night. I will be in attendance, said same. Unless I'm disinvited between now and then. In which case, I will not. 615-737-9986 if you'd like to be a part of the show. 615-737-9986. Friday Mac Attack coming up at 2:05 this afternoon with our own Mac Maury and Bel K, myself. Normally, we would have Fry J today. No Fry J today. I am sad to report Jay St. Clair had duties that calls him away from the radio involving the law. The law calls, duty calls, and I can't do anything about it. I know. It's like Christmas is canceled. I understand you're disappointed. I'm disappointed as well. We'll have Jay back next week. Until then, you on the phone, 615-737-9986. Heck, I'll answer your legal questions. I'll be wrong, but I'll answer them. I mean, maybe I'll swing and hit a slap single to right field. I don't know. I've never been a lawyer, but I've been around a lot of them. Yeah, I'm pitching a little to the left. According to the Hunter Biden indictment, we went over a few of these things. Instead of paying his taxes, Hunter Biden spent his money on a lot of different types of things. And I'm going to go over a few of these things. Why? Because it's fun. It's fun, but it speaks to the belief on the part of the Biden family that they were above the law. Could do whatever the hell he wanted to. Now, the Biden administration, while Hunter Biden faces 9 counts alleging if convicted, he will go to jail unless pardoned by his president father. Would not surprise me if that happened. If Joe Biden, let me make a prediction for you. If Joe Biden does not run for re-election, if his people decide that he is too much of a liability and they cannot overcome his physical and mental infirmity. You know, whether or not he's running around the White House naked, I don't know. But if they cannot overcome that, and clearly he's being drugged up, I will repeat to you what I've been saying to you for the last 2 years. Really? No, I take that back. I've been saying this since 2020 when he was running for election and he was hiding in the basement. Understand this. And you regulars have heard this before. You newbies, listen up. When Joe Biden's on television for 5 minutes, when Joe Biden's on TV for 10 minutes, the few times that we see him in public, whether he's delivering a speech at a plant and just absolutely botching it, or he's delivering prepared remarks and he can't even deliver the prepared remarks, and then he goes off the script, and you know that his handlers are like, no, don't go off the script. That's the best he's going to be that day. That's as good as it gets. His people, look, last night we had an event, and I was out past my bedtime. I'm 50 years old, and I feel like I'm fairly able-bodied. I'm a pudgy fella. I need to lose a few more pounds. I got some physical frailty going on at 50. But I think I'm not bad. I can go shoot a round or two of golf, whatever. And I'm fairly there mentally. But I know when I'm going to an event, and I know that, get some extra sleep and make sure that I'm on my A game. Maybe stop by a convenience store, grab a soda or Red Bull.
Nasal spray.
Little nasal. Yes, I'm addicted to Afrin. Shut up, Bell. Meanie. He's mean to me, guys. Y'all think I'm mean to Bell. Bell's mean to me. Like the big brother I never wanted. I thought my big brother was the big brother I never wanted. Then I met Bell. He's the big brother I never wanted.
Not going to do the trade-in now?
No, hell no. I'm keeping you prepare for those events in your life where you'll be in front of the public if you're in the public eye. Joe Biden's handlers, his people, know when he's going to be in front of cameras. They know when he's going to be delivering speeches. Every part of his day is built to that moment. Notice it is very rare that he has 2 of those moments in one day because they drug the man. They dope him up. There are people on record as saying that Joe Biden regularly gets amphetamines at the White House. This is no secret. This is the best that he is. When you see him on camera, that's the best he's going to be that day. And it's saying a lot that he's not very good, even at his best. So it is of no surprise to me that there are entities in Washington, D.C. and beyond, the deep, deep Democrat state that want to dispatch of him and find a better solution for 2024. And if that happens, and I believe it will, and I have believed it will for a long time, Joe Biden will pardon his son. And he'll be legally allowed to do so because he swiped an election from his basement in 2020. Hunter Biden allegedly spent, now here's the funny part. Hunter Biden allegedly, I mean, I think it's funny. I mean, it's disturbing, it's distasteful, it's off-putting, but it's funny. Joe Biden allegedly spent a total of $872,172 stimulating women in the economy. I mean, say what you will. I mean, the man did his part to drive the economy. I wonder if we're breaking the, I mean, do you think he had Viagra? You think he had one of those prescriptions on? Anyway, from 2016 to 2019, Biden allegedly spent $683,212 paying what the indictment described as, quote, various women, including women or people that he had romantic or sexual relationships with. Also $188,960 on adult entertainment, including a sex club membership, exotic dancers, and strip clubs. It gets better. Between 2016 and October 15th, 2020, it's a month before the election, less than a month before the election. Joe Biden, or rather, pardon me, Freudian slip, Hunter Biden spent his money on drugs, escorts, girlfriends, luxury hotels, rental property, exotic cars, clothing, and other items of a personal nature. By the way, did you see the other day they excused the payments? You know, Hunter was paying Joe like $1,360 every month. That's that 10% kickback to the big guy. And they claimed, his handlers claimed, oh, that was repaying him for a loan. He bought a truck.
Yeah, I heard that story.
In the meantime, he's spending all of this money on exotic cars and rental properties. Why does he need his father? He took out $1.6 million. None of this adds up.
I'm sure some of that went to child support.
He didn't have any money for child support, Bell. Come on, man. Come on, man. Between 2016 and 2020, exotic cars, clothing, other items of a personal nature. Like, I don't know, lube. What? I mean, what? Probably. Is that too much? That's too much? Well, you better buckle up. You better buckle up. It's coming. The total of $872,172 was a portion of the millions Biden allegedly spent in those years before ultimately receiving financial support between January 2020 and October 2020 that still did not go to the Internal Revenue Service. Number two, Joe Biden allegedly failed to identify payments to a stripper and escort as personal expenses. He called them business. This is, Bell K, he takes exception with this, that this should not be against the law. Hunter Biden met with his accountant in California January 28th of 2020 and reviewed the general ledger for his business entity, Owasco PC, to confirm line item accuracy. Obviously, his father's running for president of the United States, and now they're trying to clean all of this up. While he reviewed the schedules for office expenses and professional and outside services, the defendant affirmatively identified in a yellow highlighter personal expenses that should not and cannot be deducted as business expenses. More specifically, he failed to identify a $1,500 Venmo payment made on August 14th, 2018 to an erotic dancer at a strip club as a personal expense. He called it a business expense.
It was for fine art, for the business.
Monkey business. That's what my grandmother used that phrase. I always loved it. My grandma, God rest her. She would sit there in her chair and I would tell her, because, my mama was an Elvis fan. And we did this a lot. My mama was an Elvis fan. And so I heard the phrase taking care of business a lot when I was a kid. And so I got to be a teenager, 16, 17 years old. I'm getting ready to go out. And my grandmother said, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I'm taking care of business." And she would mutter every time, monkey business. Biden allegedly claimed money paid to sexual and romantic partners were wages to reduce his tax burden. According to the indictment, Hunter Biden allegedly directed his personal assistant in 2018 to place 3 women with whom he had romantic or sexual relationships and a 4th woman related to one of the 3 on his business payroll. Monkey business. As well as provide them with health care benefits. I don't know why that amuses me so much. Hey, you ladies need to take better care of yourselves if we're going to continue this. I mean, I know I'm a drug addict, crackhead that sleeps around with everything with 2 legs, but you might want to go wash. Healthcare. Let's get you some healthcare benefits. Healthcare benefits. The indictment says that Hunter Biden knew the wages, which totaled about $86,000, were a false deduction, but that he failed to inform his accountants. These payroll expenses were treated as a business expense on Owasco PC's Form 1120, reducing the amount of income to the defendant and, as a result, his individual income tax liability. Number 4, Hunter Biden allegedly falsely claimed stripper and sex club payments were also business expenses. Monkey business. On January 28, 2020, meeting with his California accountant, Biden allegedly falsely identified payments from his personal bank account and other wire transfers as business expenses. Monkey business. Many of the expenses the defendant circled were not, as he knew, monkey business expenses. Instead, they were personal expenses generated during what he described in his memoir as bacchanal. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word correctly. Bacchanal? Bacchanal? I don't know. I don't know the word. Biden allegedly circled one payment for $1,248 for airline tickets for an exotic dancer to fly from Los Angeles to New York in September of 2018. The defendant wired money to J.P. Morgan Chase to pay personal expenses and falsely represented to the accountants that these were wire transfers of a business monkey expense. In truth, the wire transfers from the Owasco PC account to J.P. Morgan Chase were to pay for personal expenses. One such wire transfer in July of 2018 was for $18,000 to an individual not named in the indictment, of which $10,000 was for a golf member deposit. I'm glad we clarified, considering the nature of this conversation, what kind of deposit we're talking about. I promise I'm trying. I'm trying to be good. In fact, at the defendant's direction, the $10,000 was used to purchase a membership in a sex club. Monkey sex club. The indictment reads, noting that he visited the club with the individual he wired the money to. Number 5, and finally, the indictment states that Biden used his business line of credit, monkey business, to pay personal expenses and falsely represented to the CA accountants that it was for monkey business expenses. In truth, the defendant had used the business monkey line of credit to pay for luxury hotels, restaurants, high-end clothing, and other personal items in New York and California during 2018, among others. This allegedly included $3,947 in payments to M Street Management, a Washington, D.C. strip club. He paid $774 in a Venmo payment to an exotic dancer that I'm currently reading from off Fox News. Fox News reached out to Hunter Biden's legal team for comment. A spokesperson declined comment. And there you go. So that's what we know about Hunter. What does all this mean? It is all part and parcel of the Biden crime family. You mean to tell me that Joe had understanding of the business dealings of Hunter Biden, and I'm going to go over that. I'm going to go over a short history of Joe Biden's lies about his ties with business dealings and his son with Biden Inc. You mean to tell me Joe knew all of that and didn't know all of this? Joe knew, and it's nasty, and it's skeevy, and it's disgusting. And the fruit does not fall far from the tree. When you see Joe Biden sniffing kids' hair, that's Hunter Biden. That's the Biden family. It's gross. It's 120 on Super Talk. If you have thoughts, 615-737-9986. The Buffalo Bills coach is in a bit of hot water. I'll tell you why in a moment on Super Talk. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. If you have an old 401k sitting with a former employer or IRAs or any investment for that matter, I want you to know about Paul Winkler and his team. When I got to Tennessee, I was asking around the station who they worked with, and they recommended Paul Winkler. His name kept coming up. Now, I advertise with him, and I get paid to say nice things when these commercials air. And that's all well and good. But here's the deal. Everyone around the radio station was saying nice things about Paul Winkler long before he was advertising with me. And when I sat down with him, I was impressed. We turned a 15-minute conversation into an hour conversation. They were different than anything that I'd done before. Several mistakes that they found. Current investment managers make these mistakes. These are obvious mistakes, and they explain these things to you. They go on to fix other aspects of financial plans that I was oblivious of. I want you to do yourself a favor. Set up a complimentary conversation with Paul Winkler or one of his team members. 15-minute phone call. Go to their website. It's paulwinkler.com. It's a great way to get a feel for the difference in how they do their business. I think you'll be impressed. Go to paulwinkler.com. Once again, paulwinkler.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 125, and I'm so pleased that you're with us on the Matt Murphy portion of the broadcast day. Don't forget, Pamela Furr is in for Brian Wilson. He's off today. She'll be here around at 3 o'clock. I'm certain that she'll have a thing or two to say about Joe, Hunter, and all of this. Hey, give me a little audio there, buddy. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to call you buddy. I don't like when people do that. Buddy, pal, sport. Hey, Chief. This is now my official theme song.
Too much monkey business. Too much monkey business.
This is the Hunter Biden indictment theme song.
For me to be involved in. Salesman talking to me, trying to run me up a creek. Say you can buy it, go on, try it. You can pay me next week.
Too much monkey business.
Too much monkey business.
Yes, too much monkey business there, Hunter.
For me to be involved in.
Even for David Weiss.
Looking, trying to get me hooked, want me to marry, get a home, settle down, write a book.
Too
much monkey business.
Oh, Hunter did write a book.
Too much monkey business.
Remember when he was on with Miss TV Filters? What's her name? Diane Sawyer?
Going to school, no need of me complaining, my objections overrule. Too much monkey business. Too much monkey business.
Oh, yeah.
Too much monkey business for me to be involved.
So, Joe wants to tell you that he had nothing to do with any of this. That their explanation, the White House will say, and I'm about to look this up and see if they've made comment today. I don't know if Karine Jean-Pierre's done a press conference today or not. By the way, thank you to listener Tony, who sent in that suggestion. Chuck Berry, Too Much Monkey Business, as a theme song for our Hunter Biden indictment scandal segments. We'll carry that forward. Here's what I expect you'll hear. You'll hear that Joe Biden is guilty of one thing. Let me see if you can guess this, Spell. You're a pretty smart guy. What is Joe Biden guilty of with regard to all of this?
Well, influence peddling.
No. What will they say? The White House.
Oh, nothing. He was just trying to help his son.
Joe Biden is guilty of loving his son too much. How easy is this? I can do it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming together today at our press conference. We got a couple of things to go over. I want to address this. I understand that you want some reaction to this, and obviously the president of the United, and this is off the cuff, right? Obviously, the president of the United States is very deeply disappointed in the latest revelation of a new indictment out of California. He has ultimate respect for the system, and he remains uninvolved in the process whatsoever. He's never going to attempt to influence this process. He believes in the rule of law and believes that his son should and will have his day in court. That said, for those of you who believe that there's some sort of entanglement, there is one thing that the president of the United States is guilty of, and that is loving his son too much. For all of you out there who are sons or daughters, for all of you out there who are fathers and husbands or mothers and wives, you understand the family relationship is a bond that is unbreakable. And yes, the president admits that because he loves his son so much, he was blinded by his son's addiction. And addiction is something that affects families all across the United States of America. And then we pivot to addiction. And then we pivot to Hunter being a victim. And we pivot to the fact that Joe had no knowledge of any of this. All of it's baloney. All of it's garbage. All of it's Bravo Sierra. It's all shenanigans. That's right. Now, I've not heard the latest excuse from the White House, but I promise you that I got pretty close to it. I promise you I got pretty close to it. Oh, but they did say this. Apparently, we do have an audio-only press conference, so I don't have video, but that's okay for our purposes. Let's see what Karine Jean-Pierre had to say.
Only because you said it before, I just want to re-up in light of these new charges. You've said before that the president would not pardon his son. Is that still the case?
Nothing has changed. That is still the case.
Nothing has changed. That's still the case. You've said the president would not pardon his son. I promise you that changes if they decide the president is not allowed to run for another term.
Well, I think you're being a little disingenuous. He's not going to pardon his son unless he's convicted.
I don't think they would wait because these charges could extend beyond the election. It depends on timing. It depends.
Yeah. I was being
right.
facetious,
Yeah.
but I do agree. I think you're right. It does depend on the timing.
It depends on timing. I think if he sees his day in court and he's convicted prior to the I mean, if he's still I don't think he's running for president at that point. So I don't know that he waits anyway. But it is a timing
He has
matter.
to be in office at that too. So if he's not going to run, he can't wait till, I mean, maybe he would wait till the last minute just to kind of try to bury it as much as possible.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, but he's not letting Hunter go to prison.
No.
Right. If Hunter's convicted, then they'll let Hunter Biden appeal. And they will probably, not that they would do this with me or do this with you or do this with Al Capone, but they'll let him stay out during the appellate process. So you may be right. You may be that if it is the case, and I believe it is, that Joe Biden will not be running for president of the United States at that point, then you let all of that play out. You make sure that the appeals process works as it should. And then, in the last dying days of your presidency, you pardon your son. And then there's the obligatory Joe Biden is proud of his son. I'll share that audio with you in just a moment. It's 1:32, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. I know that the holidays can be a stressful time of year. I understand that stress can have its effect on you and your family members. I also understand that you want peace of mind when it comes to your health. Put all of those things together and let me tell you about our friends at Craft Body Scan. Craft Body Scan is relatively new in our community, but CT scans are not, and Craft Body Scan is not a new company. They've been around since 2017. They've been doing full body scans, heart, lung scans, and the like for a while now, and these things work. And for someone like myself that's concerned with my health, it was wonderful peace of mind to have my full body scan. And according to the American Heart Association, December is a dangerous month for heart attacks. As a matter of fact, more people die from heart attacks during the last week of December than any other time of the year. With that in mind, what if I told you could get a heart and lung scan for you and your spouse, you and a loved one, you and a significant other, you and your brother, you and a friend, for $149. That's right. To introduce you to the process. Now, normally this is well in excess of $1,000, but as an introductory price, as a way to say hello to the community, Craft Body Scan is doing this for you. So I want you to go online at Craft Body Scan, spell it with a C, craftbodyscan.com, or give them a call and schedule your appointment today. You'll be happy you did. I've known a lot of listeners of Super Talk 99.7 WTN who have done this. Happy that they did. I'm happy that I did, and I want you to do it as well. craftbodyscan.com or call 615-436-1000, 436-1000. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I just made a suggestion to young Mac Morey, who came in during the break. He's preparing his 2 o'clock newscast and also preparing for Friday Mac Attack, which is a beloved segment. It has become one of the more beloved segments that we do on the Matt Murphy portion of the broadcast day.
I love it.
Anywhere Mac Morey goes, the people follow.
He loves it so much that he's asking other people to do his job.
I know. So that's where I was going. So Morey, he comes in here and he goes, I don't know what to draft. What should we draft? I don't know what to draft. Because if you don't know, on Friday Mac Attack, we engage in what we call a draft, and we have a draft topic. So in the past, we've done holidays. And we go around the room, and everyone has to draft their 3 favorite holidays. And if somebody takes a holiday, you can't have that holiday because that's how a draft works. And we've done a lot of different things. And Mac, no, I don't know what to do. And I said, no, this just happened, Bill. You didn't hear this. This just happened. I said, well, what about movies? I said we'd need to probably subdivide, like drama, comedy, romantic comedy, or whatever. I said, what about me? He goes, no, I don't want to do that because I really want to get my draft right. I need to think about that. I'm like, what? Like you don't want to do that because you want to make sure you win?
Like I'm a scout.
I've got to research. I got to, get online and best romantic comedies ever.
Hey, Mac.
This team's got to take the field, guys. What?
Mac, this is for you.
You just let me know. I'll be here. When it's time to play the game, I'll be here. We'll do anything you want to do. I suggested, Bell, that we draft draft subjects.
I don't want this to come out like I'm being negative.
Super sexters, what?
I don't want this to come out like I'm being negative toward his age, but are you old enough to remember Saturday morning cartoons?
Yeah, for sure.
We could do Saturday morning cartoons.
Okay.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah.
It's not a bad one.
Stop doing his job for him.
You're right.
Saturday morning cartoons, or as Mac Morey knows them, Cartoon Network.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
No, I had the what was it? The Bangarang or I can't remember what.
What?
It was.
Oh, we're gonna win this draft.
Jeez. The Bangarang.
I gotta look it up now.
Kind of trash.
It was
you guys
it was
watching.
old school things that you watched, but still they left it for us, like wacky races and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, it's up to you. You might come up with a different idea, but we'll figure it out by 2:05 as Friday Mac Attack appears at that time.
Boomerang. There it is.
Boomerang.
Wendy said boomerang, dummy. After she said, "You're such a lollipop." Thank you.
Yes,
Love
Wendy
you, Wendy.
did. Wendy did call you a lollipop. That's nice. Anyway, and now we're being inundated with suggestions about what Saturday morning cartoons we should draft if and when we draft Saturday morning cartoons, which I'm feeling more and more likely that we will.
Yes.
Karine Jean-Pierre on Air Force One. Press Secretary Jean-Pierre was in a gaggle. That's what they call it when they're on Air Force One, a gaggle. I love it. They sound like a bunch of turkeys. A gaggle is exactly right. These reporters that stand around, and I like it that way. I don't like that they call on names. I've got John, I've got Rick, I've got Doug, I've got Henry from AP or whatever. I like them fighting over who gets the next question. And that sometimes happens with the press secretary. It never happens with the president of the United States anymore. But I love it because someone asks a question and they answer, and as they're trailing off their answer, you just hear this basic and finally someone jumps over the fray and gets their question in. This question was about Hunter, and here's how this goes. It's aboard Air Force One, so it's a little difficult to hear. It's about a minute. On the latest criminal charges against Hunter Biden, guess what? We were right, Bell.
I have 2 questions on the Hunter Biden case. Any reaction to to what we saw last night, new charges, and then I have a follow-up.
Look, the president has said this before, and he will continue to say, which is that he loves his son and supports him as he continues to rebuild his life. I'm going to be really careful and not comment on this and refer you to Department of Justice.
Of course.
Or my colleagues at the White House Counsel. But that's what I'm not going to go beyond telling you all what the president has said over and over again. He's proud of his son, and he is building his life back up.
I know you want charges directly. but can you speak at least to the emotional toll the charges are having on the president?
Just not going to comment.
Emotional toll. President of the United States can't manage to not poop his pants. What are you talking about?
Conversation that the president has with his family members.
Yeah, sir. I'm not going to have a conversation about it. The conversation that the president has with some of his family members.
Well, if Joe was healthy enough to have a long-term memory, he'd probably be stressing out really bad right now.
Maybe so. He doesn't remember what he did and did not do. He doesn't remember what was and was not discussed, what was and was not said. Joe doesn't know. In the meantime, Hunter Biden remains walking around free as the day is long, and he'll get his day in court. And I look forward to that day. Maybe we could get Hunter Biden to turn state's evidence on his dad for immunity or something or another. You know, as much as Joe says that he loves Hunter, why do I get the feeling that if given the opportunity for the right set of circumstances, Hunter would throw his father under the bus in a heartbeat? In a heartbeat. I believe it. Hey, by the way, one of my friends, I was going to tell you this story. I want to get to it. It's a Friday. We've got lots to get into. I promise I'll get to the there's a legal battle in Nashville that I want to talk about. And Rand Paul had some wonderful things to say about AM radio, and I'm going to discuss that in a moment. But anybody, y'all know about pineapples? The significance of pineapples?
I know it's the only fruit that'll eat you back.
What?
It's the only fruit that'll eat you back.
What does that mean?
There are enzymes in it that dissolve protein.
Okay. I was unaware of that. Hold on, I've got to pick up my pen.
Have you ever...
you shocked me enough.
Have you ever eaten a lot of pineapple and then at the end of it, your tongue kind of burns a little bit?
It's acidic, yeah. Sure.
Well, that's not acid per se. It's the enzymes trying to dissolve the proteins in your tongue.
I don't understand how pineapples are so cheap. Are you bored with this conversation there, McMorris? Yeah, I am too. I don't understand why pineapples are so cheap. You know, a pineapple takes 2 years to make.
Really?
The plant,
What?
yes, the plant,
Whoa.
the plant. I mean, I think y'all fact check me on this, but I think I'm right because my in-laws were growing pineapple for a minute, and they did a deep dive on it. It takes you have to grow the plant, and the first year that the plant is growing, it does not produce a pineapple. The second year it produces a pineapple, and then that's it.
Wow. Yeah.
Now you understand we can get pineapples really cheap.
Yeah.
Are you fact checking me, Maury?
No, you're absolutely right. Give the plant plenty of space to grow.
When I was in Florida, you know, they've got pineapple plantations down there. For what it is, it takes up a lot of land space.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So imagine the land being used in Hawaii and other places regarding pine. I mean, it's incredible. How does Dole make their money, for goodness sake? I don't know. Because
certainly at the price point they sell it at.
Well, right. You can go to, I don't know, recently, but as a few months ago, maybe a year ago, you go to certain stores like Aldi, you get a pineapple for like $1. It's incredible. Anyway, pineapples, for those who do not know, and a lot of you apparently, 9455 says pineapples aren't real. That's funny. 4269, you've got a potty mouth, and I don't like you, and I don't like what you just said. That's...
Now I got to open it up.
You'll see. So a friend of mine who will go unnamed texted me a video, a Ring camera video or whatever kind of camera it is. I don't know. But you know what I'm talking about, the style that it records when it gets movement on the porch. Somebody in his neighborhood walked onto his porch and put he's recently moved into the neighborhood. They built their house and they moved into a neighborhood. And I won't go any further into where it is, but it's in Nashville, Davidson County. And, or I think it's in Davidson County. Anyway, no matter. One of his neighbors put an upside down pineapple on his porch.
That's the best.
I am, and there's some uncertainty as to whether or not this individual is messing around or serious. And I'm like, please be serious, please be serious, please be serious, please be serious, because I just want to know how all of this plays out. And I am told, and I've never seen it, but I look for it every time I go into the grocery store now. I've seen the stories where if you're walking around at Mackmore, you should try this. You and Hannah, I'm just saying, you walk around the grocery store, and if you see anybody in the grocery store, this is like, one, this is true, I'm told, and two, I really want to find the person that didn't know that this was a thing, and they accidentally do it. So you walk around a grocery store, if somebody's got a pineapple in their grocery cart, okay, and the pineapple is upside down, that means they swing. So pineapples is a symbol for swingers, apparently. And
what if they have an eggplant in their cart?
That's for 80 plus.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? 3064 is right. It was a great show today. What with all the breaking news and whatnot. God bless you guys. Thank you and good night. Yeah, thank you and good night. Same as flamingos. You're right. No, 7089 was right. Y'all are right. Pineapple is the easiest way to identify a swinger. So apparently, and I got sent the video. This guy comes on and he puts the upside down pineapple on the porch and off he goes. So there you go. Who knew? The more you know, the more things you learn on the Matt Murphy Show. And so you know what? I guarantee you Pamela Furry ain't talking about this stuff this afternoon. Guarantee.
Nope, no chance.
No shot at that. It's 148 on Super Talk 99.7 WT. Hey, friends, the world-famous Clock Store, there for your Christmas shopping needs. Let's talk about it. Matt Murphy for the Glock Store. You know, when I found the Glock Store, I knew I was home, right? You know, if you're a gun enthusiast, and I consider myself one, you look for that shop when you come to a new town, right? You look for the place where you walk in and you feel it. You know that it's the biggest, it's the brightest, it's the best. You feel it with the people around you. For me, when I knew, it's one thing to have the incredible selection of guns that they have, and they do, long and short guns, and the accessories, and the parts, and the training center, and the Shoot 270 rooms, not lanes, rooms. But it really, what sold me more than anything, when I sat down with Lenny McGill, I sat down with Dan and some of the other team at the world-famous Clock Store, and I talked to them, and I talked to some of the folks on the retail side of things and some of the folks in the back rooms and the gunsmiths and whatnot. They were all personable. They were all friendly. They were all ready to serve. Whatever your knowledge, whatever your level of expertise is when it comes to guns, they're there for you to help you find that weapon for you, to help you find that gun for you, or that accessory, that part for you, or that gift for you. That's what it's all about at the world-famous Clock Store. So I encourage you to go online to find out more. Glockstore.com or shoot270.com, or better yet, Elm Hill Pike on Air Lane Drive. Go over and see them well within the sound of my voice, wherever you might be. It's McGill's world-famous Clock Store. Super Talk 99.7 WTN 156. It's Matt Murphy and you until 3 o'clock this afternoon or until they throw us off the air, whichever comes first. More of you have knowledge about pineapples than I care to comment on. And many of you want to know the best. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. It's just, I just saw that 3277 on the Super Text line said, What if it's a can of pineapple? I don't even know what that means, and that's funny. And someone suggested, Bell, that if someone has an eggplant, that means that...
No. It was not someone. It was Jason.
Jason said if somebody's got a pineapple and an eggplant, that means when you get home, it's going to be two dudes.
My response was that must be why that guy in black leather kept looking at me.
Well, maybe so. And then one of our, I forget who it was, but I saw this a minute ago. Somebody said, I like to go into the grocery store, get a pineapple, turn it upside down just to see if somebody notices.
Walk around for 20 minutes and then just leave.
Do the old Joey Tribbiani. How you doing? How you doing? All right, 56 after the hour. Real quick on this, and it might be something of an inside baseball topic, but I just want to address it at the risk of ticking off my bosses, at the risk of ticking off the owners of this radio station. I agree with Rand Paul when it comes to AM radio. So if you don't know, there is a push by the government of the United States of America to force manufacturers of automobiles, specifically manufacturers of electric automobiles, to keep AM radio in their cars. The suggestion has been made with these electric vehicles that AM radio gets interference because of the nature of the electric vehicle. It is a difficult task to overcome that interference. And because AM radio is lessening in popularity, it's really not listened to very much anymore outside of talk radio and a few other formats. Electric vehicles are deciding not to include AM radio in their cars. I do not believe that this is a grand conspiracy against talk radio. And it obviously doesn't affect us here at Super Talk 99.7 WTN because we are a 100,000-watt FM radio station. Frequency modulation. But our company here at Cumulus Nashville, I mean, we have AM frequencies, don't we? Yeah, we do.
Yeah. I mean, not in this market, but we do in a lot of others.
Well, we don't have any in this market?
No.
We're all FM?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, baby. But obviously, Cumulus, a national company, has plenty of AM frequencies around. Well, there is a push, including many conservatives are pushing the federal government to, quote, save AM radio. Senator Rand Paul scuttled an attempt yesterday, or a couple of days ago, to get a pending bill through the United States Senate that would ensure AM is in vehicle dashboards. And the Republican from up in Kentucky, who is a known libertarian, as am I, says that it's not fair to suggest that he isn't in favor of trying to help broadcasters. He does say, I am trying to save AM radio, but I think there's a different way to do it. I love AM radio. I love the ability to have longer conversations, but I don't love it enough to give up on our principles. And I agree with him. In an opinion that might not be very popular with my bosses, I will say this. It is not the government's job. It is not the government's job to tell automobile manufacturers what they must have in their automobiles for entertainment purposes. Now, safety features, health, and safety of the general public on public roadways, that's one thing. I understand that you have to have a safety administration monitoring automobile manufacturing to make sure that they are safe for the general public. But this has nothing to do with that. That is an entertainment outlet that we're talking about. So with that in mind, I'm not into mandates. I am a libertarian with a small L, meaning I believe that government should get involved only when absolutely necessary, and this is not absolutely necessary. If the public wants AM radio, don't buy an electric car. Or demand that the electric car of your choosing continues to manufacture electric cars with AM radios. That is a relationship between the consumer and the manufacturer. Government should not be involved in that.
You can always put it in aftermarket, too.
And you can always put it in aftermarket. Great point, Bell. One more hour to go on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It will include Friday Mac Attack. I'm hoping that we do most popular produce in the produce section, but I don't think we will. We're back right after this, after the news.
.201, I'm Mac Maury with your top stories. Currently 65 degrees on Music Row. Got some storms coming tomorrow. We'll let the forecast tell you all about that coming up 5 minutes. The Texas Attorney General now pushing back after a judge ruled a woman can get an emergency abortion despite the state's near total ban on the procedure. Kate Cox's fetus was diagnosed with a medical condition that is almost always fatal for the fetus. Doctors say Cox's fertility is at risk if she continues with the pregnancy. Here's Shauna Lloyd with more.
We have a very time-sensitive issue that had to be decided before the Supreme Court is able to hear the issue. That is how the judge was able to grant this emergency temporary restraining order to allow this to happen, because it was time-sensitive. Could set a precedent to other judges who feel that there is something that needs to be addressed prior to formal rulings by the higher court.
Right now in Tennessee, the victims from the plane crash yesterday in Giles County have now been identified as Jenny and James Blaylock from Knoxville. The crash happened near the Marshall County line around 11 a.m. yesterday. The father and daughter were the only two people on board the plane at the time of the crash. Some money news. U.S. employers adding nearly 200,000 jobs for the month of November, according to the latest report from the Labor Department. Average hourly earnings ticking higher and the unemployment rate falling to near 50-year lows. Alexis Christoforous with more.
These jobs are being created in the face of higher interest rates and a slowing economy. So the fact that we added nearly 200,000 jobs is really quite a feat for the month of November. The unemployment rate ticking back now to 3.7%, which really suggests that the Federal Reserve's soft landing may actually be achieved. And that soft landing means that the Fed would be raising interest rates to slow inflation, but avoiding a recession in the process.
And that is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Mac Maury, WTN News.
Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is available for you fellas, and I want to talk to you guys because I understand the holidays. We talk about this quite a bit in a variety of different ways, but the holidays can be stressful. The holidays can be taxing, and the holidays can take a lot of energy. And if you're feeling low energy, if you're not feeling it, men, I encourage you to contact the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Go to see them. Schedule an appointment. It doesn't take a very long time. It's about an hour or so out of your day. They'll go over you tip to stern, and they'll take a little blood. And that day, they'll get some blood results back. They can tell you about your T levels and other naturally occurring things in your body that naturally, over time, begin to diminish. If you get those natural things back up in the body, you get that energy level back in a natural fashion, and you are able to get to the gym and do the yard work and other matters that men want to do in their middle age and beyond. Tennessee Men's Clinic is here for you. 2 locations. One's in Midtown. The other's in Cool Springs. They just opened that location last spring. So use this telephone number to schedule an appointment at either location or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Of course, that's the website, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Here's the number, 615-208-9090, 208-9090 for Tennessee Men's Clinic. Hello. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Hour number 3 begins right now. Before you know it, I'll be out of here saying happy weekend. And Pamela Furr, I call her the redheaded stranger because I don't see her nearly as much as I used to, will be in for Brian Wilson today. Brian Wilson is no doubt preparing for the big time party, which will include people that I can't tell you about. No, seriously. You know who I'm talking about, don't you? You know who I'm talking about. And do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
You don't? Are you going?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going? All right, here's what I'm going to do. I shouldn't do this. This is rude, but I'm going to do it. It's my show.
Do what you want.
Bell K, I want you to turn off our microphones briefly. I want you to take your headphone off. I'm going to tell you who's going to be at Brian Wilson's party, and then I want to see your reaction.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready?
Okay.
All right, so Mike's ready. All right, what?
Are you serious?
He doesn't know.
Oh, well, he went by that. That makes it.
Going to Google.
Wait a minute.
so sorry.
Whoa. Hey. What?
I let you guys down.
Hey, he probably
the funniest thing
He
ever.
probably knows her husband.
I guarantee. No, Ixnay on the.
He probably knows her husband.
I got it. We got him. Now, see, now you've gendered her, and now see, now we don't want to do that.
Yeah, because you didn't reveal
I didn't reveal anything. Ginger.
That's pretty cool.
Do you know? Now you got it. Now you've got it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, now you've got it. Dated reference lost on younger people. Anyway, but Brian's no doubt preparing for the big Christmas soiree and other matters, and so he's taking the day off. And Pamela Furr is capably filling in. Hey, Pamela.
I am, and I will be at that party. And I told Brian, I go, hey. If you want, I'll sing like Tennessee Christmas. And he never got back with me.
So that means it's happening. That means it's got to happen now.
Pam,
I'll be happy to sing.
Pam,
what?
You're lucky you got the invites to Ginger and all. Don't push your luck.
I'm sure you were invited as well, Bill.
I think I might have been.
Are you going?
No. I wish.
It's way too far of a drive.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pick you up.
Bell doesn't like us. That
is absolutely not true. I don't like you. They are okay.
Antisocial.
All right, enough of the. We had some good pineapple talk in the last hour of the show. Enough of that.
What?
We did. And a friend of mine sent me a video, like a Ring camera video. You may have missed this. That he just moved into a new neighborhood. They built a house. He and his
what neighborhood?
He and his wife. I'm not telling. And what now? That was like, a guy, and he thinks it's a joke.
It's not a joke.
He thinks it's a joke, but he's not quite sure that somebody.
It's not a joke.
His Ring camera caught somebody coming up to his porch late at night and putting an upside down pineapple on his porch and leaving.
I think it may be funnier if it's not a joke. I thought it was super funny if it was a joke, but if it's not a joke, it makes it even funnier.
But if it's not a joke, what's the point? I mean, there's no way to contact the person and say, "Hey, I'm into what you're talking about."
I think I don't know. I'm proud to say I don't know the process here. I don't know how you. I mean, I guess if you're in the grocery store and you see somebody like that, I mean, you can go, "Hey, I got a pineapple too," or whatever. I got an eggplant or whatever.
You like to.
But I guess you leave it. I mean, you would leave it on the porch, right? You just leave it. You like, hey, turn it upside down.
The upside down part is the key.
That's what I'm told.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Does that count for the upside down pineapple cakes too?
Maybe.
Do they serve those at swingers parties?
I mean, maybe. I mean,
I have no idea, but
I don't know. I know that my father-in-law.
I like cake, and
I do. I like pineapple upside down cake.
We're all suspiciously uninformed on this subject. Well, I don't know. Well, pineapple.
I'm a simple man. I know your ways. My father-in-law does stained and leaded glass. Has for years and years and years. Beautiful glass. He does churches. He does homes, and does a lot of leaded glass and leaded mirrors. And he was asked, he does a lot of pineapples because pineapples are a traditional symbol of friendship and welcoming.
I'll
and
bet they are.
Well, no, but
Very welcoming.
So he's never questioned the right. He didn't know about this, and somebody asked for an upside down pineapple on the front door in a leaded, like a pineapple design upside down. And he's like, upside down? You don't want it upside down. He goes, yeah, I do. No, he's like, he tells me this story later when he knows. And he's like, I'm arguing with this guy. It's like, this is a stupid idea. And the guy's like, no, we really want this idea. He says, I looked it up later. I feel like an idiot. It's like, oh, hey, I'm just getting back with you on that upside down pineapple.
whoa,
You're all
hey.
good. I think your wife needs to be there the next time. Anyway. All right, so Pamela's going to play.
Yes.
Pamela's going to play with us. What's today, Mac?
It's Friday.
Ugh.
It's time for Friday Mac Attack.
Oh, yeah.
I like Cougar Chow.
By the way,
yeah.
general consensus amongst the assembled masses at the party last night is that you did not come because you were afraid of cougars.
That's what I've been told. I was scared.
You're afraid of cougar? You've
I was
never
scared.
been afraid
No,
of cougars.
No, I don't shy away.
I like a man confident in his
This
relationship.
is why he and I get along so well.
Oh, there you go. I don't shy. I ain't shy. Okay, Mac, what are we doing today? What are we doing?
So, as maybe if you were listening earlier, I failed to really prep this week, but Belle had a fantastic idea.
No, hold on. This was Mac Moore. I'm going to try to do a Mac Moore impersonation. I was like, dude, I said, it's called Mac Attack. It's not Murphy Attack. You're asking me.
This is 30 minutes ago.
It's a busy week.
I've been busy.
I'm so busy. I
Haven't
had
had time
things
to think about it.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what you
Of
said.
course, if that was about his
Take it.
sports podcast that he does for The Zone, that would have been done and ready to go.
And here's the thing. Fake it.
You're right. I
Fake
should
it.
have faked
Be
it.
confident. Go, yeah, I got it.
I've got next week's already, but I don't have this week's.
You have next week's?
Next week's, yeah.
Are you going to tell us?
Christmas movies.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
That's a great one.
Makes
That's
sense.
Yeah,
great.
it's right in
Timely.
the season. Yeah.
Timely. Yes.
All right. So what is announce this? What is this week's? Tell everybody.
Saturday morning cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think since we have a special guest in here for her first time on a Friday Mac Attack draft.
Yes, thank you.
I think we should
Yes.
arrange hours and Pamela
Pamela
go
gets the
first.
first pick.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
All
Okay,
right.
great.
So you have to kind of explain how this works. I
Okay,
think
so
I
it's-
know, but I
it's
just
a
want to
dra-
make
it's like
I
a
need
draft.
pen also.
Uh-oh.
I
She
think
needs
I need to
my-
write it down and do some
Got a
figuring.
pen?
I got
Good.
I got you.
Yeah.
So it's like a
Good
draft. It's like we're drafting a football team or a baseball team or whatever. And we go in the order of the draft. We're about to establish that order. And once a pick is off the board, You
Yep.
got to go. So if somebody picks your favorite Saturday morning cartoon before you,
And we'll do 3 rounds, so
and
you'll
we
have
do
3
three
picks.
picks. So you have 3
All right.
picks.
Now, I
yes.
do need. Now there are some cartoons that are like have a group of people. It's not a group. It
I
has
was
to be
going to ask this.
individual.
I was going to ask
It's a
this.
good question.
So it's a great question, and so I'm going to give. I don't want to give an example because I don't want to give
Yeah, you
anything
don't
away.
wanna give anything
But
away.
like
shows, not characters and not groups of characters. You can't say Looney Tunes,
Right,
and own
right,
all of
right,
Looney
right,
Tunes.
right.
Yeah, that's
Looney-
good.
That's what I
That's
wanted to
good.
make
You've
sure.
got to say Bugs Bunny
Yes,
or
yes, yes.
Yosemite Sam
Yes, yes,
or
yes.
Elmer Fudd.
Now you're giving all of them away.
Yeah, right. Because you say Looney Tunes and you just take a huge
Yeah.
chunk category. Okay. All right. So Pamela's going to go first, ladies first, and she's a guest. And this is the way we pick. We're weirdos. So y'all ready? We play odds evens.
It's really good radio
What do I
content.
do?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know
It's
how to do this. What
No,
do
no,
you-
you don't
what
have
do
to
you
do
do?
it.
You got the
You're
first
going
pick.
first.
I got
You're fine. We're picking on second. Yeah, all right. Everybody ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I'll go. No, yeah, I'll get the
Come
second pick.
Bell.
Let's go.
turn. You wear me out. Okay. Odd or even, Bell? Just
Odd.
take your
Take
time.
your time.
Take
Yeah.
your time,
Odd.
buddy. All right, I go
Odd.
last. That's great. All right, so the draft order is now Pamela Furr, Mac Morey, Bell K,
Yes.
and poor Matt Murphy. Now, I need one more question.
Yeah.
We're saying Saturday morning cartoons. Do we really just mean cartoons?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
Cartoons.
it has to be
So
animated.
Electric
An animated
Woman
show.
can't be in there.
Right.
All right.
Okay. Animated shows.
So Dinah
Because
Girl,
over my
Dinah
head.
Girl was
That one
so
went over
hot.
my head.
I mean,
don't
like,
know.
for example, the easy example is The Simpsons, right? The Simpsons was never on Saturday mornings,
Right.
but it is
It has
an
to be
animated.
Saturday morning.
It has to be a Saturday morning?
Animated, yes.
But would The Simpsons count?
No.
No.
It's not Saturday morning.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah,
That's
South
not
Park.
Saturday morning cartoon.
Whatever.
South Park doesn't count.
Yeah.
Matt's mad now because he can't draft Bob's Burgers.
That's exactly. I had an easy number
He's
one
like, Bob's
pick.
Burgers.
Bob's Burgers.
That's not Saturday
I watch
morning
Bob's
cartoons.
Burgers on Saturday morning.
And on demand does not count.
Y'all are stupid.
All right.
All right, Pamela Furr, you get to go first.
All right. Well, mine will have to be Daffy Duck.
Ooh, okay.
Daffy Duck is solid.
Nice.
I mean, he
Never
does
was a
the
fan.
parry, you know. You
Oh,
may
no,
not
I
know-
love
you
it.
know,
No, I love it. Yeah,
he knows how to
Dodge,
fight.
dodge,
Yes.
parry, dodge.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I know the episode you're talking about.
So that's
Daffy-
me. Yeah.
Daffy Duck.
Because he would do some maybe weird, underhanded things.
Yeah, he was shady. Daffy was
He could
shady.
be shady. So that's mine.
Daffy was hilarious.
Mac Maury.
I'm going to go classic here. Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
All
That's a good
right.
one.
That's great. It's good for me, too, because I was never a fan.
What?
I'm not a fan of, I never was a fan of the chase or the adversarial cartoons.
But I loved it because they were best friends. That's the thing about Tom and Jerry.
Were they best
They
friends?
were best friends.
though?
Yes.
Okay.
They were the odd couple. They were Felix and Oscar.
You can't
Okay,
have one
sure.
without the other.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It was a different relationship than Sylvester and Tweety Bird.
For sure.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
obviously. I mean, if Sylvester had the opportunity,
Boom.
eat
Done.
on Tweety Bird.
Yeah.
All right, so yours is Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
Oh, Pamela first writing them all down. I like that. You got to keep up with them. I mean,
She's
with
going
four
to be
people
prepped
in
for
the room.
Sundays. Yeah, we know.
Okay.
He's going to have no clue who this is, but I'm going Space Ghost.
I don't know who that is.
Space Ghost wasn't on Saturday morning.
Yes, it was.
When?
I've heard of this, but
I don't believe you. That's fine. That's fine. I'll give you Space Ghost because I cannot believe I'm about to get my pick.
Take it.
My fourth pick. I cannot believe you're giving me Bugs Bunny as a fourth pick.
You got it.
Dang,
You got it.
yeah.
I cannot
That's a
believe you're
blunder.
giving me Bugs Bunny. Fourth pick, Bugs Bunny. That's Patrick Mahomes in the second round.
Weak sauce.
I mean, I almost did Bugs Bunny because I was getting the first, but I just think Daffy
In your
Duck
heart,
is a
you like
better
Daffy Duck?
player.
No, it's good. That's what it's
Yeah,
all about.
yeah.
That's what it's all about. You're going to lose every game this year, but that's what it's all about. It's okay.
I don't know, man.
All right, Pamela, pick number 2.
Y'all, one of my favorites, Captain K.
Booga, booga, booga. I love my favorite part of what's happening right now is Mac desperately.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm
Googling.
trying to keep up. Space
keep
Ghost looks
up.
cool. I just got there.
Yeah,
Space
Space
looks
Ghost.
cool.
You know, Space Ghost on the coast. I know. I don't think it was
Look
ever
up
on Saturday morning.
Captain Caveman.
His little club would open up, and there'd be stuff inside of his club. And he had a little guy inside there. I don't know if that was always or just a one-off, but Captain Caveman had a little smaller Captain Caveman inside of his. Boom. That's pretty funny.
Yep.
Okay, Belle.
No.
No, wait,
No,
Mac.
he's-
Pardon
yeah,
me.
No.
Pardon
It's
me.
okay. I know you're scared. I'm building a great team here. Championships will be
Yeah,
built.
championship.
Mac is
What
on
was,
the clock.
what was your first pick again? Because mine was Bugs
Yeah, it was Bugs
Bunny.
Bunny.
His
Tom
was
and Jerry's
Tom
great.
Jerry.
Tom and Jerry's great.
Jerry.
Let me go the Flintstones.
Oh,
I don't
Correct.
think the Flintstones were ever on Saturday mornings.
Are you
they
sure?
were, but it was after the fact. They originally broadcast
in prime
time.
time. But in his generation,
I was going to say,
it's
for me, that's a
Saturday.
Saturday morning.
Should we give
I'm
it to him?
still
I
angry
say we
about that.
give
I
it
mean,
to him.
Bob's Burgers, I can find Bob's Burgers on Saturday morning if you want me to. I'm just mad about the Bob's Burgers. It's my favorite television show.
It's so good.
It is. All right, so yes, the Flintstones.
Okay.
Meet the Flintstones.
Yeah, is that a fair pick? I think that's a good pick.
I think so.
I'll give you the pick if
Thank
you. I'll give you the pick if you can sing the theme song.
We're the Flintstones.
He got the melody. He got the melody.
It's a
Ding, ding,
modern,
ding, ding.
a modern Stone Age family from the
Modern
town of
Stone.
Bedrock.
From
They're
the
town of Bedrock. They're a page right out of history.
Oh, okay.
Come ride with the family down the street through the courtesy of Fred's 2 Feet. Flintstones.
Meet the Flintstones.
I wish
don't
my
remember
parents
the
were
rest.
alive. They'd feel so proud right now. I've made it.
All right. Is Belle next?
Belle.
Scooby Doo.
Scooby-Doo's
Scooby
good.
Dooby Doo.
Where are you?
Yeah, we know that one too.
That's a great
So, Scooby-Doo, the rumors about them intentionally writing Scooby and Shaggy as dopers. Do we believe that?
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's 100%.
Casey Kasem even confirmed that he was told they were meant to be that way.
Right. All
They're
the
meant
food.
to be high.
Oh, excuse.
Do you know who Casey Kasem is, Matt?
Another Google.
He's an old radio guy. He used to be the voice of American
Casey
Top 40,
Kasem.
the big syndicated show.
Okay.
These up-tempo records, man.
And he was the voice of Shaggy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
You need to, at some point this afternoon or this weekend, go find the Casey Kasem Freakout. Casey
Pretty
Kasem
great.
was an absolute institution. And I love listening to him on Sirius XM over the weekends. They
Yeah, they
replay
play
him.
those. Yeah.
Did he have like an F it, we'll do it live moment?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It was the original because, I mean,
Yeah, he was before
yeah, I
Bill
gotta see
O'Reilly.
this.
Yeah.
And he
Long distance.
is a long. It's time for our long. He's coming out of. He's coming out.
distance
No, I can almost do it. He's coming out of a record, and he has to transition. He's like, oh, then we got the beat by the Go-Go's, and now it's time for our long distance dedication. It's a story about a woman and a dog, and the death of the. All right, let me do this again. Why are we doing this like this?
He was mad because
was
he was
mad.
coming out of a down-tempo record, though.
No, it was up tempo. I think it was up tempo into a like.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I gotta come out of an up tempo record into a damn death dedication. And, it's a
He
slow.
starts going on.
No, but it's such a slow build.
Yeah.
And he's just starting to freak out, and the engineer is just like, keep that tape
Record.
rolling.
Record.
Keep
Yeah.
that tape rolling.
The producer's leaving the building before the recording's
No,
done.
but my favorite part is that at some point he's ranting and raving
About everything.
and he's like, "Is that Bill on the line? Yeah, tell Bill I want to talk to him. Where's Bill?"
It's just like going insane.
And then you hear him on the shows. Oh, this is Casey Kasem. All right, where are we? To me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yes.
So we have Mac the Flintstones. I had Captain
She writes it down.
Caveman.
Yeah,
Mac
that's
the
good.
Flintstones, and then Scooby Doo for Belle.
It's a great pick. Kind of envious of the Scooby Doo pick.
I mean, I could go a number of different ways on this.
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Don't do it. Don't take it.
I'm doing it.
Don't take it.
I'm taking it. It's a little off the board, but it's my team, and I need this guy on my team. I want this guy on my team. He is an underserved performer on Saturday mornings.
Look here, son. I'm no loudmouth snook. This is a dog.
Yes.
Crank that up. Crank that up.
yes.
That's all I got.
Who told you this was a chicken, son? Nice boy, but doesn't listen to a word you say.
See, that baw's just like a tattoo. Gets under your skin.
Just for the record, for the record, as we were starting this, Representative Scott Sapicki texted me and said that would be one of your picks. And I have the text in my phone.
Did he make
to
a
go,
bet
Scott.
on that? Did we do a wager? FanDuel.
It is one of my
FanDuel.com.
favorite lines. I don't know why, but I remember it from my childhood. Foghorn Leghorn is trying to teach one of these little kids, one of the little chickens, how to play baseball. And there's something happens, and he looks over at him and goes, "Boy, would you get that ball out of your mouth?" I don't know. Something about it. All right, Pamela Furr, your final
All
selection.
right.
Round us off.
There were two that I keep going back and forth with in my head of my favorites, but I'm going to have to go with Yosemite Sam.
Mm-hmm.
My biscuits is burning.
I do know that one. There we go.
That's good.
yes, that's mine.
That's a good pick.
That's
a good
nice.
pick.
All right, I'm just going to keep quiet and I really, really want my last selection, so I'm just going to keep quiet. Okay, go.
Popeye.
Popeye.
No, that
Popeye
was
the
never
Sailor.
Saturday morning.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
I think it was.
Started out as a comic strip and then went into movies. And
It's garbage anyway. Just give it to him.
okay.
What? Garbage.
It's trash.
Absolute garbage.
Really?
Because I eat my spinach.
Thank you, Pamela.
Now, have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie starring Robin Williams?
Yes.
Which is really
Oh, is
bad.
it bad?
It's
It's so bad it's
awful.
good. It's so bad it's good. Watch it.
It's the
Just to
worst.
laugh at how bad it is.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is trash.
terrible.
Live action?
Yeah, it's Robin Williams. Shelley Duvall was Olive Oil. It had a lot. It had some names in
Who
it.
played Bluto?
He was like a famous. He was like
Yeah.
a
So
dramatic
this,
actor.
This bombed. This was
It was
bad.
terrible.
Yeah, there was a huge build up,
Yikes.
and it bombed. But I remember Shelley Duvall as Olive Oil singing she's singing a song about why she likes Bluto, and he's large sausage, and he's mine. It's bad.
That's terrible.
Popeye is this is a guy with a genetic disorder, right? I mean, he's obviously got.
Well, he's got huge tumors in his forearms.
He's got tumors in his forearms. He can only see out of one eye. He's probably got lung cancer because he's smoking on that pipe, and all he eats is spinach.
The eye thing was a stroke.
From all the spinach. All right, as we slowly but surely blow out the quarter-hour break, who's next?
Me. I can't believe this just blows me away that this was just left out there to pick up.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Who?
Don't do it.
Jetsons.
Oh, okay. Jetsons.
All right.
Yeah, I could have gone Flintstones and Jetsons. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go a little bit different. Jetsons, that's a good one. That's a good one, but it has nothing on this pick. Still can't believe it's on the board. It is an absolute classic. A little bit after some of these 70s and 80s. It's called the Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Animaniacs. We got baloney in our slacks.
What's it about?
Animaniacs.
You know what
Whatever.
I want? My sidebar one is here I come to save the day.
Underdog.
Yeah.
Underdog.
Some of the suggestions on the super text line. The Smurfs. Oh, dear.
No.
I like the
Who said
Smurfs,
the
but I
Smurfs?
wouldn't have put them on my
Statman,
team.
you're out of here.
Statman said the Smurfs. Did Yosemite Sam have his own cartoon? Yeah, Mike, if you weren't listening at the beginning, we kind of subdivide the Looney Tunes. I mean, obviously, Yosemite Sam had cartoons. Bugs Bunny had cartoons. So, yeah, I mean.
Did y'all watch the cartoons? Oh, shoot. What were they called? Where you had the superheroes. Yeah,
Friends.
Super Friends.
That doesn't count, though, because they started as comic books.
It doesn't matter. They
It does.
still
It
had
has to-
Saturday morning
doesn't matter.
cartoons.
You
Bell's criteria is so.
They were still Saturday morning because I like the Wonder Twins.
This jerk space ghost coast to coast, and he's making new rules as he goes along. What is he doing over there? There's a lot that we didn't pick. Thank you. Yeah, Bender. Yeah. Bender. I would have said Futurama, but I couldn't pick a show like that because it was at night.
Right,
Correct.
can't do that. Yeah.
I forget what it was called. It was
You have Hulu, don't you?
the Cartoon Olympics. You remember that? Like
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Wait,
about.
no, I don't remember.
where they I don't know which came first. Remember the ABC CBS special where they would the Battle of the Network Stars where they would do sporting activities?
Yes.
They did this in
sounds
cartoons. And they brought a lot of the different cartoon
Laugh
characters
Olympics.
together. What is it called?
Laugh Olympics.
Laugh Olympics.
Laugh Olympics.
That sounds awesome.
That would have been on my board for number 4.
Oh wow!
That sounds
you,
cool.
That was really good. So
you
now they all
missed the Battle of the Network Stars.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Wow.
Oh yeah, where they would have people from ABC, CBS, and NBC would all come together
and
they would compete.
Yeah, do different
in like sporting activities.
Why don't they do that
kind of
anymore?
like Survivor?
Because
or
it
whatever.
sucked.
No,
Did it suck?
It was so
It was
fun.
all right. So you had these the weird
nothing
things
else to watch.
like Red Fox is canoeing against
With a cigarette hanging out.
right. It was just the
Against
most
Gavin
random crap.
McLeod, from the Love Boat.
That's
He's not
good.
really a captain, so Red Fox wins. Yeah.
Top Cat, Super Chicken. You forgot Thundercats. No, we did not. No, we did not. Speedy Gonzalez. Hello.
Oh, Speedy
Gonzalez. That's right. That's cultural
Andale,
appropriation.
andale.
Yeah. Yogi Bear. Stealing the picnic baskets.
I loved Yogi
Love it.
Bear.
Hey, nobody picked Fat Albert, so does that make us racist?
Hey. No, we just don't want to deal with Bill Cosby.
No, this. It might. It might, but that's way down the list of things that make us racist. For those that want to find that stuff. All right, Pamela, I know you got a show to do in 30 minutes. You're welcome to stick around. I've got a couple of things I need to do. I need to talk to you about UPenn and a donor that has canceled $100 million over anti-Semitism over these hearings that happened earlier in the week. And I am going to eat Sunday afternoon at a local establishment, and I'm going to give them a free plug because they are under fire because of their smell.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I was thinking of actually going and getting something to eat there.
Then we need to plan it because a good friend, a mutual friend of the show's, Norm Parton, has invited me. He knows the owner, and he's going to introduce us to the owner. We're going to get him on the show.
I would absolutely love to go there.
We're going on Sunday. We'll tell you the story next on Super Talk. The holidays can be a stressful time of year, and if you're already feeling it in your back, in your neck, in your knee, in your hip, in your elbow, wherever it hurts, it's just going to get worse during the holiday season. So what about giving yourself a gift? Or if you have a loved one that's in pain, give them a gift with the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief. They've been at this over 30 years at the Dr. Gill Center, and they are great at what they do. In fact, most of the technologies that are available all throughout Middle Tennessee, they were originally at the Dr. Gill Center. In other words, this technology came through Dr. Gill, and now it's everywhere, like spinal decompression, like red light therapy, like the Class 5 laser system. They're on the cutting edge of technology that can help alleviate your pain, make you pain-free without the need for pills, without the need for needles, and certainly without the need for surgery. I want you to give them a call today. Say pain relief. Say my name, Matt Murphy, and they'll give you a special introductory price to get you in, get you diagnosed, and figure out how they can solve your pain issues without pills, without needles, and without surgery. Let's kick off 2024 the right way. 615-882-4838, 882-4838. It's the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief in Franklin. Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy. We talked with Mark at the Safe House yesterday about the holiday opportunity that you might have with Nashville Safe House. If you're thinking about getting a gun safe, what a great time to do it. Not only do you have sales tax-free dumb with gun safes at Nashville Safe House. That went away for a couple of months this year, but it came back, thankfully, through the efforts of the General Assembly and others, the governor and the like. But Mark at the Safe House also wants you to know that he has incredible rebates on safes. I mean, Browning, and just you name the brand that you are interested in, and odds are they're going to have a rebate. And you can save, into the thousands of dollars right now at Nashville Safe House. Also, and it's a sad reality of the holidays, that there are a lot of break-ins during the holidays. And if you want to avoid this, if you want to make sure that everything that you need to be secure is secure within your home, you need a quality safe delivered by the professionals at Nashville Safe House. Don't let a crackhead deliver your safe. Discreet and professional delivery, and they know the combination. NashvilleSafeHouse.com to find out what safe they might have that's right for you, or go by. The selection is enormous. They have about a third of their selection on the showroom floor and another 2/3 in their warehouse, a better selection than anywhere in the United States of America. It's Nashville Safe House on 4th Avenue South. Winding down the week, having a bit of fun in the final hour with Friday Mac Attack. I hope you enjoyed it. We try to get away from the news every once in a while. I believe that you enjoy that. I think you do, and I hope you do. And a lot of response for the draft this week, which was Saturday morning cartoons. I feel like I, yet again, came out the victor. So I feel good about all of that. Bugs Bunny, Foghorn Leghorn. Are you
definitely
kidding
did
me?
not.
Bugs Bunny was a good pick.
Thank you. I mean, he's the king. He's the king of the cartoons. I mean, come on.
Should have drafted Wacky Races.
Shut up, or I'm taking the Flintstones back.
What is this? I'm the commissioner here.
I know it's Friday Mac, but I
Really?
like.
You want to be Goodell?
Bell is taking ownership of Saturday morning cartoons in a way that he's never taken ownership of any other subject that we've done. No, that was a comic book.
Actually, no, that was on Fridays.
Yeah, okay. That was a Friday morning cartoon. I won't allow it. All right, real quick, Philip, we'll get to you before I get to this story about Roy's Meat Service. Hey, Philip, how are you? Thank you for calling and thank you for holding.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks.
I'm great, Philip. I hope you are.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I love you guys. Been listening for years. I think this is the first time I got to talk to you. But the AM thing, I like you guys. I like Rand Paul on most of the stuff, the libertarian. But the AM is a little bit different than the typical government overreach. It serves a function which is not entertainment. We use it for entertainment on the day-to-day basis, but the national structure is set up so that in the event of a national emergency, whether it's a natural disaster or, conflict, whatever, the AM can be used as a backup for emergency broadcast services in a way that the FM can't. And that's it.
How?
Initially was its function.
How?
I'm sorry?
I'm not.
Because it doesn't function the same way as FM does. And you can take out the FM servers and still have the AM servers running. It can also be used by civilians.
But how isn't that the case? I mean, that's the case regardless of whether or not they exist in electric vehicles. I mean, AM radio. I mean, in other words, AM radios still exist.
Right, but it's a nose under the camel's tent, and the function of it being in the cars is for emergency purposes because whenever things go wrong, you're not all. If you're sitting at home on the couch with your
why does it the government?
If you're in the car, you need.
I don't mean to be short, but I'm just a little bit time limited. So, Philip, why doesn't then the government, if it's their responsibility to make sure AM radio is in our cars for emergency broadcast purposes, why is it not the government's responsibility to pass a law mandating that we must have an AM radio in every home?
It's like a whole lot of stuff in history. A lot of stuff was just accepted in common sense, and it's like a lot of the rules I have to write at work now. I find myself writing things down into policy that I 5-10 years ago swore to God there would never be a reason that I would actually have to write it on paper.
Is it the government's job?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a different way. So, do you believe that it's the government's responsibility to mandate? Let's say me, you, and Bell, Philip, wanted to create a car. We wanted to build a car and sell a car, and we decided we weren't going to have a radio at all. Is it the government's job to tell us as car builders that we have to have a radio in our car?
In this specific case that we're talking about, actually, yeah, it's practical. It's necessary for safety because when there's a disaster, natural disaster or otherwise, unless you're sitting at home in your house with the radio on.
What about people who don't? What about people who don't?
SOL if you're on the road?
Well, then if that's the government's responsibility, and it's such a responsibility that they have a right to mandate to companies that they have to do certain things with regard to AM radios, what about people who don't own cars?
Well, then they're not going to be stuck on the road.
What do you mean stuck on the road?
Well, if you're in your car, you're probably not sitting in the driveway. You're on the road. You're transporting yourself from one place to another place. People without cars are already in a place, they're not on the road. I mean, you can't cover every
so
scenario.
You're saying the government,
but there's a large number of people every day on the road.
The government should control aspects of the private means of production because at some point, some of us may be stuck on the road and FM radio has been disabled and we have no other means of cell phone communication, for example, and AM radio is the only way to go.
Yes, the same means that we would take out FM radios, and a lot of this goes into a lot more technical weeds than you probably want to get into.
I do
have a background on it. But the same technology that would take out FM broadcast is the same technology that would take out cell phone broadcast.
And what specific about the automobile do you believe is of such importance if you are not going to require that individuals in their homes or their apartments also have an AM radio in the case of a natural disaster or a national emergency?
I'm not sure the splitting the hairs.
I'm not trying to split your hairs. If it's the government, you're saying
you can ensure that they have access to emergency broadcast.
But I'm asking
you can't ensure they have access to emergency.
Why is that the responsibility of government, and why, based on that responsibility, are you saying that government has the right to mandate to the private means of production that they install these systems in their cars? I just don't believe in a government that needs to be that big, nor do I believe in a government that should be able to mandate to individuals that they have to pay attention.
Well, the government's, you're kind of crossing a couple of lines. The government's responsibility is directly to the public safety. You can't cover everything all the time, nor should you. Like California dictating that all cars will be electric, right? Some things are just ridiculous. And you can't do everything, nor should you do everything. And it's a subject that's never had to be brought up before because no one has ever considered putting out a car I mean, I could, up until recently, I could choose not to have a radio in my car at all. Shouldn't I have that option? As a consumer? As an American? By the way, realizing the difference.
Well, what about motorcycles?
Well, motorcycles didn't even have radios up until a few years ago.
Well, exactly, Philip. But that's my point, Philip. That
but it's a point of public safety. Are you actually saying
what about
you
motorcycles?
Have the knowledge, and if it is better, that it's better to leave your public in a position where they can be endangered?
I don't believe that the public is going to be endangered by not having an AM radio in their cars. I believe that the public has enough good sense that they can make a choice as to what car they're going to buy based on whether it has an AM radio or not. You're presenting an argument, and no offense to you, and I like you, Philip, and I thank you, and I hope that you keep listening. You're presenting an argument that the government is your daddy, and daddy knows better, and you're a child, and you can't make decisions on your own in the case of a natural disaster or a national emergency. I would suggest to you that I can. I mean, you can still order many vehicles without a radio at all. I believe you can order Jeeps without a radio. I know that you can order motorcycles without a radio. So I just don't believe, if we have a disagreement, that's fine. I just don't believe that. I do not believe that that is a function of government. Now, several of you are saying, well, government requires seatbelts. In Murphy world, if I had a decision to make, seatbelt requirements would go away except for the driver of the vehicle. The only reason that I believe seatbelts should be required by law for the driver of the vehicle is because it has been shown in study after study that having a seatbelt on can minimize the impact on other individuals on the road should there be an accident. In other words, you have a better ability to control the vehicle while you're in the driver's seat as opposed to being thrown out of the car.
I just want to say I think it's a very fallacious argument to talk about the government's job of keeping us safe. Outside of national defense, that is not the government's job to keep us safe. The government's job, its main purpose for existing, is to ensure our liberties. It is not the government's job to be your daddy and protect you.
Yeah, I mean, that's just my take. Philip, I appreciate your take. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings or insult you. I just had to be quick because we're running up to the end of the show. So I did not mean to be jerkish or too quick with you or to jump on you. I respect differences of opinion. I just will disagree on this one. I do not believe it. I do not believe it's the role of the government. What about cars where the radio is broken? 4574 says you're an idiot. Thank you. I don't
Stay on subject.
I know. I mean, the fact that I'm an idiot has nothing
zero to do with
the fact that I'm right. I mean, right? I mean, yes, I'm an idiot, but I'm also right on this matter with regard to liberty and freedom. It is 2:49 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WT and a couple of additional moments of yours truly. We also have, I call her the Red. I love my nickname for you because I don't get to see you as often as I would like
it
to.
a lot.
It's
Actually.
Red-headed
Mine's
stranger.
so much better.
Yours is Soulless Ginger. Is that
Filthy
right?
Ginger.
Oh, well.
Filthy soulless ginger.
And say, where on this doll did a ginger hurt you?
Somewhere. Well, we're going to find out. One of these days we'll
I
find out.
don't know that I want to know. Just saying.
Yeah, on his pineapples. So I got to get to the store.
I can't breathe.
I got to get to the store. She turned his pineapple upside down. He didn't like it.
She's going to start snorting whiskey out her nose.
So, legal battle is brewing over a popular East Nashville meat and barbecue place called Roy Meat Service, RMS. I've never been, but I'm going on Sunday afternoon at the invitation of Norm Parton, our good friend Norm.
Nice.
Who said, you need to come out. I know the owner, and we'll have some lunch, and we'll talk with him. Jeff Roy is the man's name. For the last 9 years, he's been serving up takeout from his market. Menu stays pretty much the same, he says. Top item changes. The rest stays the same, as you know. Regulars love the place, speak well about it. I'll let you know on Monday. One person does not care for Roy's Meat Service.
No?
A neighbor is suing, claiming that it interferes with the enjoyment of her home.
Oh, wow.
And I think we all know why. Do we all know why she's suing? What interference she claims there is?
Barbecue?
It smells like barbecue.
It's the barbecue smell. Okay, what kind of communist is this person that she doesn't like the smell of barbecue?
And did she move in knowing the barbecue joint was next door?
Yep.
She, woman moved into the house backing up to Roy's 2 years ago. Roy had been there 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
She alleges, among other things, that part of the store encroaches on her property and that the smoke from his constant grilling is a nuisance. Roy said, we smoke about 5 days a week, ribs, pork shoulder, chickens. He adds he complies with code for the past year. He said he spent a lot of time and money trying to address her complaints. I just put my foot down. I'm done. You do what you got to do, he said. And so the neighbor filed a lawsuit claiming the store affects, quote, her ability to enjoy her property as well as negatively affects her health.
I have a feeling that she had a crayon and $400 to file this lawsuit.
A lot of the neighbors have come out in support of him, too, because during the tornado, he fed the neighborhood free.
Oh, yeah. I believe that. I don't know of him, but I believe that.
The plaintiff, Natalie Castillo, and her attorney declined comment and said that to News Channel 5, where I'm reading the story, their lawsuit speaks for itself.
It sure does.
Indeed.
What's coming up? What's coming up?
Hey, we're going to talk about Hunter Biden. I have to talk about it from a female standpoint.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Tennessee school choice. The two Aarons are going to join me later to talk about child human trafficking.
Mm-hmm. Who's your favorite?
Aaron?
Yeah, which is your favorite Aaron?
You know which one's my favorite. So does he.
All right, there's Pamela Furrier for Brian Wilson. It's The Drive coming up in mere seconds right after Mac Maury's newscast. Have a wonderful weekend, folks. I hope you're well. Hug your loved ones. We'll talk to you on Monday. Till then, so long.